I'm wearing my sequins. We're back on the red carpet. We are in for a great episode today. I have a great guest. She's a Scranton native, multi-talented blogger, founder, speaker, podcaster, and female empowerment advocate. And she's doing big things right here in our area. Let's meet her. Hi, Kylie.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited. We have so much to talk about. We were talking off camera before about, country music, which nobody in the newsroom wants to talk to me about because nobody else likes it. And Dancing with the Stars. We're going to talk about all of that in a little bit. But first, I want to hear about Kylie. I want to hear about your podcast and all of the fun things that you are doing. So tell me about yourself.
Oh, I can just go on about this. Oh my gosh, there's so many. But, I'm Kylie, as you probably know. I am 19 years old, a freshman in college at Penn State, studying journalism and so many other things I can go on a tangent about, and maybe too much degrees. But I am been podcasting for about 4 years, since April 2021. Wow. So probably longer than probably most people have done, to be honest with you. And I am the founder of Roots of Hope, and it's an organization where I tend to give back, send letters to psych awards to kind of uplift people who are, dealing with a rough time and maybe dealing with mental illness and all of that. So that's kind of trying to lift up and give books to different places and trying to uplift the community. So it's kind of a little bit about that. But to go back to Talk of Fame, I started back in April of 2021. So I interview a million guests, like actors, politicians, directors, authors, basically anything you could, ask about or know. Everything's on the podcast. And literally we have a bunch of conversations like mental health, women empowerment, acting, women's representation, literally any topic you want, we basically have. So that's kind of, a little deep dive into that.
And all of that stuff, like hearing you just light up about it kind of makes me sit back and light up about On the Red Carpet, because I love what I do. And I love getting to speak with people like you doing great things in the community. So kind of walk me through. I have to ask first though, do you have a favorite guest you've had on?
Oh, gosh, there's so many. I can probably get millions.
Give me like your top two, female, male.
So female, well, I'm like trying to look for guests.
I put her on the spot here.
Yeah, I am on the spot, I admit. But if I had to choose a female guest, it would probably be Gabrielle Stone. She is the daughter of, I forget her name, but she was the mother in E.T.
Oh, wow.
And, the person that was the mom in E.T. And she literally came out with a book. She's I would say well-known actress. She is literally amazing. She wrote a book maybe 2 or 3 years ago that I just read about going through a divorce and then going to travel around the world and finding out who she is. And then her meeting her husband, now has a baby who is adorable. And she kind of discusses kind of like what inspired her to do that, how she felt, what kind of her perspective was. So it was really nice to kind of, hear from her and also learn about her mother too, who was an ET. I never met her personally, but it was really nice to learn more
Never
about
say
her.
Never.
I know. I'm like, oh, maybe I can meet her one day, but, never say never. But for guy, I would have to say Elias Harker from Fuller House.
Wow.
He plays DJ's son, Max. And as many of you know, if you're family or friends, Full House has been my favorite show since I was a baby, ever since I was born.
Oh.
So I used to watch it every single day growing up. And then once Fuller House came out a couple years ago, I think 2016, I believe. I could be wrong, but I think it was 2016. I did the same thing with Fuller House every single day.
So here's my question, because I'm one of those people, it's a reboot, it probably won't be good. Is the reboot of Full House worth the watch?
I mean, it's worth the watch. I think the original Full House is better. I think that's fully better. Okay. But I think Full House is better than I thought it was. Kind of bringing that back to Full House. But I think the original version was a lot better and more funnier or sense than that. And, Michelle wasn't in it, actually. Mary-Kate Olsen wasn't in it. So that kind of blew it off.
I gotcha. Listen, I grew up watching Full House. I grew up I knew when it was time for bed, when the nanny came on, I was like, oh, I stayed
I
up
was
way
the
too
same
late.
way.
And then when we couldn't get out of the house in the morning and George Lopez and How I Met Your Mother came on, I was like, oh, I'm going to be late for school.
Yeah, every night I remember, like when I was in like middle school, elementary school, Fuller House came on Nickelodeon at like 9 o'clock at night. So I was just pulling the channel. No, I would literally rush home to watch the Full House every night at 9 o'clock. And once I was older, that would literally put me to sleep.
Yeah.
So once 10 o'clock hit and the episode was done, or 9:30, I'll be like, now it's time to go to bed. I'm happy that I watched the episode now.
Well, you know what I want to watch? I want to watch your podcast, and I want to know how it got started. Talk me through that process where you were kind of like, wait, I could do this.
Yeah, so very much, although I was a very shy kid, let alone, being a talkative podcast host, I was a complete opposite. I dealt with anxiety as a kid, very shy. You wouldn't think I would do a podcast at all.
No, because girl, you're a talker.
No, I'm a
This is
talker.
fun.
I come from a talkative family, so it's very the talker or whatever my family calls it. So my aunt and my cousin are actually journalists in the area. So growing up, I used to watch them, on the news every single day. Still watch my aunt today, like on the news every day. If I'm at work or I'm just listening to it, if I'm at campus doing nothing or need something. And really, I grew up, going crazy every time I see them on news, because really I'm so used to them like being my family. I'm not used to love seeing them on TV. More so, every time I see them on TV, I'm like, oh, that's their job. I'm so used to them. Like if I was a fan of them, then maybe I'm like old fangirl. But it's every time I see them on TV, it's so weird. Just because they're my family or whatever, and sometimes if I'm out with my aunt, people come over and talk to her. I'm like, what should you do again? But
like seeing them in the profession of communication, is that really what made you want to do this?
Yeah, and during a pandemic, I was kind of like bored on my mind. I was so bored, and literally, as many people were, and I was kind of looking for something to do, and I love really deeply asking questions. So I was like, one day, like in probably March of 2021, I was like, I woke up and I was like, I should start a podcast. But I'm like, my thing will probably not go through. Knowing me, I can have it up, but I was like, yeah, that's probably not gonna work out. So it literally stuck with my mind for the next few days, and I was like, maybe I want to do this. Like, the worst thing I can do is not start it and regret it. And if I like it, I can keep going with it. If I don't have to do it again, but it's always worth a try. And I started it. My first guest was Cooper Searles, who was a host of the Big Swing podcast with Ross Stripling, who just retired from the MLB. And
wow,
which is crazy. I grew for the last few years. I watched him on the Dodgers, which is my favorite team, and he went to Blue Jays, some other teams. So it was really nice to connect with him.
You're talking to a Phillies fan, so
well, I'm a Dodger fan at heart, but I grew up a Phillies family though. So
okay,
I'm a little mix of like I'm a diehard Dodgers fan at heart, but I come from a diehard Phillies family. So it's kind of like Dodgers are kind of more important to me than the Phillies. But if you ask 5-year-old me, it would have been a different story.
We'll cut that part out.
It would have been a different story. But I started and talked with him, and he at that point, he was still doing the podcast. The podcast ended maybe 2 years ago. So at that point, we were talking or whatever, and I was like, I really did this. And maybe if you did a few more episodes, got to talk with big people I didn't expect to start interviewing. At the time, I was 14 years old. I'm currently 19, so that was really a big age gap, and I started doing interviews, and I turned to love it, and I started becoming busy and really turned a passion for it, and got to meet a lot of people, and I think at the time, a lot of people became my guests since I was 14 years old, and that's kind of what hit them, is 14, or else they probably would have said no, but I think that was kind of like a little bit of a hit. That was 14, and it's rare. But, just really, just starting it and getting to meet a lot of people that maybe I watched a lot growing up, or shows I watched, or Dancing with the Stars. I met someone who used to be on Dancing with the Stars.
Okay, well, I met Derek Huff and Emma Slater.
Wait, really?
Oh my God, they were, so really quick story. I'm going to have to show you the picture in like the deep, deep archives of my deep, dark secrets, because I had a bowl cut. It wasn't pretty. I was in like 6th grade. was at Mohegan with Emma Slater. I think it was the first 300 in line, like, got to meet him. So I made sure, like, I had a little poster. I took my parents and I wanted to meet him. Well, sixth grade me was freaking out because this man literally only had on a nice dress jacket and he was shirtless. And I was like, sixth grade Allison needs to lock in, keep her eye on the prize.
I would have freaked out if I would have done that. I'd be like, oh, he's shirtless.
But he was so nice. Emma was wonderful. That was like, I want to say pre her and Sasha. I know like things didn't work out with them. But I love him as a judge now. And I actually got to see Dancing with the Stars in Lancaster when they were at American Music Theater 2 years ago.
Oh,
for
really?
Riley's first year as a pro. Gosh. It was so good. That was Xochitl's season that she won. But we have so much to talk about from All Entertainment, and I just love learning about you and your podcast. Like, I'm so entertained right now, but there's also a side to you that is so much more than entertainment. It's giving back to the young girls in this community and empowering women. So talk to me about that aspect.
Yeah, so, you know, when I was growing up, I really didn't see, like, a part of me on television. I never really saw, like, myself technically. Growing up, I've always been a very like into sports. I played baseball, swimming, track growing up, so a variety of different sports. And come from a big sports family, like everyone plays sports, and a diehard Penn State fan. Everyone went to Penn State and diehard. We had season tickets, so it's, you know, a lot of history that I go now, where I go to Penn State. But, you know, like growing up, I really didn't see myself on TV, and I didn't realize that when I was very young. But as I got older and the pandemic hit, I kind of realized that until I watched, I don't know if you know this movie about League of Their Own. It's...
Okay, I've heard of it. I don't know a lot about it, but I've heard of it.
But it's if no one knows, it's a female sports movie based off maybe when, I think it was during the World War II. Okay. And it was based off women's baseball when the guys were at war, so they decided to do women's baseball to kind of entertain everyone. And that movie, my mom showed me that movie during the pandemic, and my eyes opened because, you know, I've been obsessed with sports since I was, you know, born. So, and more so baseball. So
and you do stuff with the Rail Riders, right? Or you used to?
I used to, yes. So it was nice to kind of see myself as girls playing baseball because I play baseball, and it made me realize my love for Gina Davis. You know, I'm a big Gina Davis fan. She's my favorite actress, and everything she does. I can go on, you know, another entertainment or whatever about her. But she has this institute called Gina Davis Institute on Gender Media, and it's about representation in media, movies, in real life, and how women are represented compared to men, and mostly... Women are mostly known as housewives or dying in the first 5 minutes of a movie, and men always get the good roles like executive, you know, president of the United States and all that, and literally it's hard to find someone. I never found who I was until when I watched that movie and actually found myself seen, and that's kind of, you know, it's how I base what I watch is that. And that made me, you know, realize, like, you know, not a lot of people were talking about this. This was a pandemic, and she made me realize, like, this is actually a problem. Is when I was growing up, I thought it was a problem, but I was too young. So it was very much like, okay, I want to do something about that. So it kind of, you know, she really opened my eyes to really advocate for young girls. And I have a niece who's 2, so, you know, I just don't want her to have her, like, living up to that.
Okay, and I have a sister who's 9. So, like, we're so parallel, and I love it. Like, we're so similar. My sister, I am all about, listen, my sister's a fireball. So if she can take all of that energy and hone it in to creating positivity and support in her classroom, I'm so here for it. I'm so excited that you're on the podcast because we have so much more to talk about. We're going to take, Ricky, a quick break. What do you say? Ricky's telling me to take a quick break, so we'll be right back on the red carpet. Welcome back from break on the red carpet. Joining me today is Kylie. We're having a great chat about everything from Kylie's podcast to empowering women, and I love a good girl supporting girl moment. Now we're going to shift our gears a little bit to focusing on national entertainment. And I'm so excited because when she walked in, I mentioned her love for Hugh Jackman, and she just lit up, and I said, I love Morgan Wallen. So we immediately bonded over our love for music and the arts. Did you watch the CMA Awards?
I haven't, but I watched clips. I was actually busy doing homework, as a regular college students understand, but I was looking for updates on Instagram, on the CMA Awards Instagram.
And Morgan, for those of you who did not know, and saying these words really hurts my heart, Morgan Wallen did not win Entertainer of the Year. Kelsey Ballerini was not even nominated. Lainey Wilson, we were talking a little bit. You like Lainey's music. I don't personally see the hype. She won a lot of awards.
Maybe too much.
And you know what, Kylie? I got my heart broken several times this week because not only did my favorites not win during the CMAs, my front runner for Dancing with the Stars went home on Tuesday. Oh. Is that a hot take? Oh boy.
Actually, people might hate me for this, but I'm actually glad they're gone.
Okay, that's the end of the episode. We're done. No, I'm kidding. Here's the thing, though. I want people to understand. She is a mother. So I'm assuming you watch The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Okay, I did too. Hot take. She's going to say, I'm never coming back on this podcast. I like Demi and Whitney.
I did like them too.
Okay, I still like them. I'm ride or die for them. I don't see any issues with their actions. That's a little bit of a hot take. I'm just really upset just because people need to realize, and we're going back to the women supporting women and empowerment here. She is a mother. Like she has 3 young children who are one day going to grow up and see all of these people bullying their mother on social media, and they think their mother is the greatest person in the world.
And I think they're very young too, actually.
No, super young. Like she literally, I want to say, just had that baby boy not even a year ago.
Yeah, not even.
But I was rooting for them. So who's your prediction to win? Who are you rooting for?
Originally, in the beginning of the season, I was originally hoping for Riley and Scott, yes. Yeah. But since they got eliminated, I was either hoping for Robert or Whitney, or who's the other person? Danielle and what's her? And Dylan. Yes. Okay. So now it's either one of those two.
Girl, our visions are not aligning on this topic. I am now rooting for Alex. Actually, all the way.
That's like my third pick.
Okay.
But I know she's very popular among Dancing with the Stars fans, so.
I love her. From the beginning, so I did a TikTok. It got 30,000 views and maybe 30,000 for the wrong reason. First of all, I'm dyslexic. I cannot spell. I spelled choreo. Guess how I spelled it? CERO.
Oh my God. That's honestly how I was probably spelled, to be honest with you.
Listen, I didn't know. Again, I am not a good speller. Ask any of the anchors who have to read any of my scripts for the newscast. They're fixing misspellings daily. Anyway, I digress. I posted a TikTok, and I didn't know who Elaine was. Do you remember the movie The Parent Trap?
Oh, yeah. See, that used to be my favorite movie growing up, though.
Everybody was like, how do you not know the Meredith Blake? People were like coming at me in the comments. They were like, that is such a red flag. I was like, okay, back off. I was literally not even born when that movie came out.
Me either. I was far from born during that time.
And I forgot about it when I watched that movie when I was 8. On Disney Channel. Oh, yeah. I completely forgot about it, okay?
That's how I was.
Is there anybody you are shocked about being in Dancing with the Stars?
Probably Robert Irwin.
Really?
Maybe, I mean, his sister was on it
She
few years
won.
ago. And she won, yes. But I didn't think he was going to do it for some apparent reason. Didn't even know she was on it until he came on Dancing with the Stars. Because I didn't really start getting to Dancing with the Stars until last year when Riley and Steven were on. Because many people know Steven's a Penn State alumni, so I kind of had to watch it, and I was very passionate. He's a
she
gymnast.
had to. Yes,
he's a
yes,
gymnast,
yes.
so that was, a plus. Because I can tell he's already being a good dancer because he's the gymnastics and all of that, and he really seems like he had good technique.
I love what you said about rooting for people. I really liked Riley. Like, I was really rooting for them, and I loved Pentatonics. I have to say, this show, it makes me sad in a way, because this show used to be all of the viewers' little secret. I literally I remember 2 years ago, I got tickets for probably $85, and they were good seats, and now the show's not our little secret anymore, and tickets for their shows are like $200, $300.
At least.
So I love that a show's gaining popularity. It certainly deserves that, but ticket prices make me sad.
I know. Imagine if it was still $85, it'd be probably sold out immediately.
I want to go to your love of Broadway, though.
Oh, yeah.
So you've seen Hugh Jackman, then, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah, every time.
And
Every
you've
time
met
he
him. Is he nice?
Oh, hell yeah. He's probably the nicest celebrity you'll probably ever be. I'm not saying that because I know him personally, but I'm saying that in general. There's people probably be like, oh, she knows him. Like, she is saying that so he can act like a regular person so he can get a good reputation. But I'm being dead serious to when I say he's actually the angel sent from Earth.
Oh, I love that. So what shows have you seen him in?
Too much.
Too much.
Too much. Probably spent at least $2,000 on him. I don't know what track, but at least $2,000.
Girl, I'm here for it, because the amount of money I've probably spent on country concerts is so unhealthy. Again, I digress. I'm trying to think the most expensive concert I went to. Probably Morgan. Well, I went to 20 concerts last year.
Oh, you did?
I went to Jordan. Let's see. I can't do them all. I used to be able to, but I can't because it's 2025. And again, my brain doesn't work like that. The standouts for that year were Zach Bryan, Luke Combs, Jordan Davis, Morgan Wallen, Kelsey Ballerini, Kenny Chesney, Tim McGraw.
I saw him too in Wilkes-Barre.
Okay, we need to talk about that. He was at the arena when? Last year?
It was like May of last year.
Okay, so that song, there are core moments in this world. One of those core moments is hearing Live Like You Were Dying live.
I literally stopped. Because his dad, I don't know if you guys know, but his dad used to play for the Phillies. Like Tug McGraw. He used to do maybe 80s, 90s. I forget what years. So as a growing up in a Phillies family, that really went home. And as someone who lost a loved one a few years ago, my grandmother, so it's kind of like losing someone and listening to that song is like, heartbreaking in a way that you really connect to.
Okay, we're talking about all this and all these celebs. I gotta know, dream guest.
Oh, dream guest.
Give me your female and male again, and I'll give you mine for on the red carpet.
These answers are actually easy for me, actually. Not on the spot.
Who's coming on Talk of Fame, Kylie? Who do you want?
For women, Gina Davis. That's an easy answer.
Okay, easy. You were talking about her.
And for male, Hugh Jackman.
Done. That was so easy. I think mine's a little bit harder. I'd say male. I would love Dan and Shay on the pod.
Ooh, he's good.
They're such a good group. I think there's something about music that you find by yourself when you're like growing up and going through stuff that just stays with you. Females, I'm ride or die for her. I gotta go Kelsey Ballerini. Ooh. I want Kelsey on the pod, non-negotiable. I need to see her. I need to meet her. I saw her, actually. I saw her in all of her stages of life and music.
Oh, you did?
I did. So I got to see her with Thomas Rhett when she was brand new. I think Legends was her biggest song at the time. And she was married. Then I got to see post divorce when she was with Kenny, and I got the, Yeah, Sure Okay healed version, Penthouse healed version. And then I just got to see her again this February, actually, when she was at Wells Fargo on her headlining tour.
I know. Like, when I, only saw her once, but, it was in 2019, I believe, in September. It was the day before my birthday. I think it was September 24th, so maybe my birthday's on the 25th. And the only time I saw her, it was at Hershey Park when she was opening for the Jonas Brothers. That's the only time I saw her.
I didn't know that. I forgot she opened for them.
And her biggest song was probably, Miss Me More, I believe was, her biggest song.
I think around that time it was Miss Me More. Girl, when are we going?
I know. Good question. Whenever she announces a new tour, I wonder.
Well, they're overseas, and I'm not flying.
There's no way I'm flying overseas. Unless it's Hugh Jackman related, then I will.
Okay, all right. So what do you love about him?
There's too much. There's too much. I can go on a tangent. I light up, bringing up him. But, since I've known him for a long time, he really has an amazing memory. I don't know how he has such an amazing memory. But when someone named Deb, who's been a super fan for probably over 20 years since A Boy from Oz, which he was on Broadway.
Okay.
And it was in the late 90s, and she introduced me to him, when he was doing The Music Man with Sutton Foster. That's a whole different story.
So good.
But I seen it probably over 10 times. And I was literally there every weekend. And when she introduced me to him, we talked, and then every time I went, he remembered my name every time. After the one time introduced. And throughout the years, we kind of started, regaining a relationship, a very special bond. And during his From New York with Love Broadway thing at Radio City, we started really forming a great close relationship to the point where we're very close as a knit, where you'll find me in crowds outside the stage door.
You posted pictures on Facebook of you meeting him and outside those crowds. Mm-hmm. And listen, I need to get back to New York. I have not been to New York since COVID. I saw Frozen right before the pandemic shut everything down. I saw Waitress.
Ooh, I heard that was good.
With Sarah Bareilles. Mm-hmm. I do not take that for granted. Mm-hmm. And then I saw most of Hamilton's original cast. Now, I didn't see Lin-Manuel, unfortunately, but I did see a lot of the original cast. My aunt and uncle surprised me for Christmas. We sat 4th row. The only downside is we sat next to people who did not have theater etiquette, and they kept getting up and down and up and down.
Those people drive me crazy. That's why I sit on the aisle, actually. It's because, sometimes if I have to go up, grab a snack or whatever, because I'm a pre-diabetic, so, you never know when low sugar is going to hit me or something. So,
right.
So I kind of, it's always the best case scenario. If they're available, if not, it's fine. At least I'm getting a ticket. But you never know. But plus, I don't have to jump over whoever, how many people.
And I hate that. I hate being that person who's in the middle and it's oh, I need a soda. Oh, now I need a bathroom break. Now I want dinner. It's girl, you're either up or down.
Yeah, seriously. And you're probably at certain points, you probably get annoyed with you for getting up and down so much.
Now, if it's my boyfriend, I don't really care. Up or down, I'll keep making him move. Kylie, this was so much fun. I can't believe we're already out of time. 30 minutes goes by fast when you're having a lot of fun.
I know.
You're going to have to come back on. Listen, keep up with Kylie on all of social media and her podcast, Talk of Fame. As for me, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, weekdays 2 to 3 p.m. on the red carpet. Ricky, you know the drill. Roll that outro.